be the president.
We are going to keep an eye on that testimony in today's impeachment hearing before the House Judiciary Committee. But we have some breaking news for you on that other story we've been monitoring. Just released the long-anticipated Justice Department Inspector General report on the investigation into the origins of the Russia probe and the conduct of the career law enforcement officials who President Donald Trump has, for the past 3 years, maligned and attacked and likened to traitors. This report was expected to flatly refute some of the president's most alarming claims about a deep state conspiracy to undermine his presidency. Based on what I've read so far, it does just that. NBC's Julia Ainsley is live for us at the Department of Justice. Julia, what are you learning about this report?
So, Nicole, this report just came down from the Inspector General here at the Justice Department, Michael Horowitz. It's over 400 pages, but I've had a chance to leaf through this and pull out some of the headlines. And you're absolutely right. Michael Horowitz, the Inspector General, said that there was no evidence, either through documentation or through testimony, of political bias by the FBI and their decision to open an investigation into the 2016 meddling of Russians into the presidential campaign. He did, however, say that this was not, they did not follow the chain of command, that throughout the FBI chain of command, there were a lot of mistakes made. That initially this investigation was opened because of a tip from a foreign government, that being the Australians, and not the now infamous or uncorroborated Steele dossier. But he did say that the Steele dossier played a very outsized impact on the Carter Page FISA warrant. That was what the FBI used to start monitoring one of Trump's campaign aides, Carter Page. He said that he called that FISA warrant, I have it here, inaccurate, incomplete, and unsupported. And he says he doesn't know why the FBI kept renewing the Carter Page FISA application, because they weren't even getting that much material. It wasn't that useful to the overall investigation. And some news for you here, Nicole. The Inspector General is opening another investigation into how the FBI uses FISA warrants, how they apply, and whether or not there should be more protocol put in place to protect American citizens as the FBI seeks to surveil them through these court orders. That's what we're following here now. But overall, you can say that the Inspector General found no evidence of political bias in the FBI's decision to open that initial investigation.
Julia, stay with us. Frank Figliuzzi.
We've got some more additional details coming out of this. And what I think we should be focused on is this finding, that Crossfire Hurricane, which was the original Russian counterintelligence investigation that led eventually to the special counsel, was found to be properly predicated on facts.
Explain that.
Well, that means that the FBI actually had the legal basis to properly open this investigation.
Is predication like probable cause? It's like a standard for opening investigation?
Yeah, in this case, it became a full. So that the language that's used for a full investigation is specific and articulable facts that a foreign power was involved. That the IG is saying you properly opened this case, and you properly opened 4 related cases: the Papadopoulos case, the Carter Page case, the Manafort case, and the Michael Flynn case, all properly opened on facts.
So if you were to put the report on a timeline today, what the 400-page report concludes is that all of the conduct that the FBI engaged in when they opened up an investigation into Donald Trump's campaign staffers and associates' ties with Russia, including Carter Page, George Papadopoulos, Paul Manafort, and who's the fourth?
Flynn.
And Michael Flynn was all, they had cause to do all that. So all of the conduct in opening those investigations and conducting them was proper. And the problems happened where? After they were ongoing?
Right. What the report, initial read of the report is saying is that after those cases properly predicated and opened, there were some policy standards and protocol violations by some personnel in the FBI on how they executed those investigations. I also think there's a really important finding here, because I think for people like Chuck and myself, we care deeply about the brand and reputation of the FBI, as the American people should. And what we're hearing is that the IG has found that there was no political bias or improper motivation to open those cases, nor was there any improper motivation to use the investigative techniques in those cases, to include human sources, undercover agents, and the FISA wiretap technique. all being found to have been validly used in these cases.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.